My mother gave me this book for Christmas or birthday. I don't know how many years ago. I think I was in, could I have been in college? Anyway, she knew I liked lettering, and she liked lettering, and she thought that I would love this book, and she did tell me that there was some dirty pictures in here. And if she only knew where I'd end up, in what gutter I'd end up. But there are pictures of people being sort of morphed into letters, and they're naked people, so you see their various kinds of junk dangling out here or there, like that. But with those are kind of naked. There's some naked people, and they're not doing anything. Well, the Z there might be having some fun. We got a three-way going on there with the R. Oh, I guess my mother was right. They are kind of having fun. Anyway, among the things that they show here are these things. These are made up of the alphabet, made up of architectural bits and pieces. And I thought, well, I can do that. So let's move over here. I have friends that live on Commonwealth Avenue, which is the very fancy street in Boston's Back Bay. And they live in what an architectural architectural historian has decided that this house is the ugliest house in Boston, in Back Bay. And he goes into the reasons why he considers it ugly, which are, it's sort of funny because Gothic architecture is just a mangle. Victorian Gothic architecture is just a mangle of everything, and then they added something on top of it all. It wasn't enough to have it have sprinkles and chocolate syrup. They had to put the cherry on top. But why this house is considered ugly and this one not is the confusing part to me, because they sort of look the same amount of weirdness. It's just pattern, like those two little dots, these patterns. Maybe those held the sign at one point. This one is weird. I mean, there's no doubt about it. It's weird, but it's weird in ways that all of architecture of this type are weird. So anyway, what I thought I could do is, I'm often hired to draw portraits of houses, and I thought, well, I can do something more interesting than that. Their initials are B and V for Benjamin, and Val, and I thought I could essentially make a monogram using the elements of their house. And I've got gray paper and 3 pencils, and the white will represent the beige color here. Gray or black might represent, I don't know what, and red will represent. There's 3 colors, and I'm using 3 colors, and the paper is colored, so who knows what's going to happen. But let's just pencil this out. So I think I'm going to make the B first, and I'm only doing that because I wanted to have these 2 parallel lines here, and then I wanted to have the end of the V sort of fly off like that. So here's a V, here's a B, and they're going to overlap and interlace, but also be like a building here. So where the B is first, the V is on the tallest. So we're even in that way. So let's see. I'm just gonna, I have no idea what this is gonna turn out like, but we're gonna just find out. So this is gonna go over the top. You know, letters have to intertwine, weave in and out of each other when they're a monogram. So if this goes on top, the next one will go. It's weird because the B has a bowl. How do I want to do this? It's always one of the first things I do when I'm designing a monogram is I want the thing that's most important to understand the logic of the letter to be visible. Here the V could be on top of the B, but you might end up losing this bowl part. So I'm going to make the B be on top here, which means the V will be on top there, and the V will be on top here. So the V goes above, below, and then it turns a corner, and then it goes above. So that's how we do it. There are some letters where it doesn't work out that way. So here's our B and our V. Okay, now let's look at this craziness and see what we can do. Now I could choose to have the letters be made of different colors. The B could be essentially black, and the V could be red. I could do it that way. For shits and giggles, or I can have it be all mixed. So let's see. Right now, this little part, this little curly Q right there, that's going to be this part of the V. So, I mean, there's so many things I could deal with, but this is going to be here, and it comes up like that, and then there's little gutai here that come out. There's, you know, little light areas and then dark areas, and carved in stone. Maybe I need to make this just all one color. No, I'll just do it black and white. I'm not going to do the red on this one. So here, this element is this. Okay, now the B, the bowl of the B, I mean, there's this scalloped bit here, there's, you know, this kind of thing here. Now Ben is a boy, and Val is a girl, and maybe the way that I can show that here, you know, I've taken, the V is made of straight lines normally, but here I've feminized it a bit with this little curl. If in our language of gender with letters, if curly Qs are feminine, I mean, that's a convention that I can decide to use. So here, the B, which is made up of curves, I'm going to try to angle those a bit. So here we have a pointed curve. So I can do that here, maybe, and do the same up here on this one. So I'm curving that to match this shape. See, I mean, this is a weird house. It has a round, it has things, it has this, it has these big overhanging eyelids over that part. It's a weird thing. I'm not disagreeing with the expert. Ben, fix your drapes, fix your blinds. But they just had a renovation done, so that's probably the result of the monkeys that they hired to do the work for them. I don't know if they're finished yet because they're monkeys. So here's the B, here's the B. Okay, the B, So let's go back up to my B thing. We have this scallop stuff on the inside. I don't think I want that though. I think I'm going to have the inside be this, sort of sharp. So it's going to be there, there. You know, this, see, we've got this sort of shape here that I want to use for the B. Maybe I can have that be here on the serif. And it comes down, and it does the same down here, just because it can. How does this work? Down, down, curve, down, 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 up, curve, down, up, down. And then right here, right in that spot, I'm going to put this in there. That little indented, looks like a door hinge. There's a little thing there, and it comes out here like this. So the reason I wanted to do this project was in the urban sketchers group that I belong to, which I belong. Because of the virus, we were asked not to go outside and do anything, but to draw Back Bay, which is where this house is located, by going on Google Earth and drawing from pictures. Normally, drawing on pictures is not allowed. That's considered bad. For good reason, because drawing from pictures when you don't have to sucks. You know, I think I might actually make this part, and maybe some other part of this, be red. How does the red work here? Is the red too dark? What do you think, folks? I'll always redo it. I remember when I first moved to Boston, I was staying at my college roommate's apartment. He had moved here, and it was because of his moving here that sort of made me want to move here. We weren't an item at the time, or ever for that matter, but I like him, still like him, even after all these years. And he now lives in New York, and he was here for a year for his grad school work. And my plan was to go to New York eventually, and I thought Boston would be a good place to start my big city life. And I never got there, but I was looking for a place to live, and I was shown, it took me a year to find, it took me a month to find where I ended up, which was a group house that was really fun and just what I needed in my life. Being shy, I needed to be around people. And I don't know if adding red was a good idea, but it's done. And then I think I need to add black. Okay, Pierre, what am I doing? Do I like these pointed now? Anyway, I ended up here, and as I was looking for houses, I could not, one was too big, one was too small, one was too expensive, one was too this, one was too that, and it was all making me really depressed. I think I'm gonna I'm going to use this to be the top of the V, because the V is, this has the same curlicue that I just made for the other part. So there's two elements of this house that actually match. The rest of it is like, okay, what can we find in the stone yard that's already been cut that we don't, so we don't have to pay for new stuff. And anyway, I looked at all sorts of things. Too big, too small, too expensive. One was like I couldn't even stand up in it. It was down. It was a half a flight below the ground, and I could watch people's feet walk by my front window, which might have been interesting. And it was sort of funny because to get in the house, I had to duck my head. And I'm tall, but I'm sure that it's against the law to have anything that even remotes that thing right now. Okay, so how is this going to end up? I guess this interior of this. Looks like that. Anyway, I was really, one place was uglier than the next that I was looking at that was in my price range. And I thought, God, if I ever see another red brick building, I'm going to scream. And I was really depressed. And but luckily, I ended up in a red brick building that I enjoyed. Not so much the building, I enjoyed the people in it. And it was in the area of Boston College. Okay, V, I guess you're going to go down a little bit more than the B. This wasn't part of the plan, but that's what it turned into. So now, because I did that, it's going to overlap in a funny way. And I went back to this apartment, and it was during the time when students were moving in. And I was on my bicycle. This is not very long time ago. Actually, I'm not going to have that go over. You'll just see the under part of it here. And for shits and giggles, I'm just going to put the upside down sort of fleur-de-lis on the bottom of this, just because I can, Blanche. Anyway, I went back to this house, and people were moving in, and I I'm 60 fucking 2 years old at the time, and I'm telling 19-year-old people and their parents, parents were there. I said, I lived in this house, and I moved out, and I got old. You can never leave this house because you'll get old. And they slammed the door, and they shut the door very slowly and then locked it. I could hear them lock it. They didn't want to have anything to do with me for all sorts of good reasons, I'm sure. So this comes down, that goes over here. This is the big B for Benjamino. So how am I going to make, what is the Benjamino part going to look like here? So it's going to continue to have these things come down, that. Come on, I could have made them look a little bit better, but well, since I now have, I think what I'll do is I'll just have this one be pointed. And this can be pointed as well, but be pointed and shaped. There'll be a little design thing. This is a little too close to that. So the inside of the bowl will just be round. this part will have a design on it. And what design will it have? Maybe I can have this kind of a thing. Oh, I can't because that could have existed as a removed part here, but I can't do it now because I already filled it in. Okay, it has this little rondelle kind of a thing in a square hole. A rondelle in a square hole. I'll just make a rondelle. It's kind of like a nipple. Well, whatever. If it looks like a nipple, it's fine. Maybe this can be this, implying the scallop shingles on the roof, tiles on the roof. I guess I could have done that sort of a thing there. Okay, now that I've done this, I've got black pencil all sharpened and ready to go. Can I actually see if I can fix this thing by adding black? Prismacolor is weird stuff because you can't erase it, and it doesn't really cover. When you put a color underneath, it's sort of just stays, the color underneath stays there. You can't completely cover it. Okay, B and a V. So I'm going to make the V. I'm going to just try this for shits and giggles. I'm going to add only the black to the B. V to the V, sorry, the V. You know, that way they're made of two, each is made of two colors. Can't see what I'm doing when I'm aiming the camera down. Normally when you make a monogram that has letters going in and out, you imply a shadow being cast by the things that are on top of it to help them look like they're weaving in and out. It's part of what you do, part of what one does. So anyway, here's how this is. If I add black to the B, I'm going to have to add red to the V. So restrain yourself, Pierre. I really want to put some in there, but can I add red to the V anywhere? I could make these things red, even though that's going against the rules. Okay, so that's a version. Let's see if I can do a version on paper. With pen and ink. As you've probably noticed, I am hand holding the camera, which isn't very helpful, is it? So let's imagine, you know, here's a piece of paper with engraved, and their monogram that looks like this is at the top. And it would maybe be an inch tall. Let's see if I can draw it. I'm using red ink here because that's what's in this pen. I'm going to see if I can do it kind of by memory here. So here's our B, here's our V. I'm making this a little bit differently because I'm making moving this thing down toward the middle. Beaujolais Village has a BV monogram, and it doesn't look like this, but it's just whenever I see B and V together, I think of the winery Beaujolais Village, and that goes over. The V goes over the top of the B. Scallopy bits. The B is under here. See, now I'm doing this all in black and white, or red and white in this case, because when it's engraved, it's going to be one color. Could be two color, but it would be very expensive. Twice as much. Well, maybe not twice as much, but more. It goes over the front. B is on top. So here we have a rondelle. I'll put a rondelle there. Here's our little goutai. Here's our little thing on the inside of that. This, if this were engraved, this might be stippled rather than done with vertical lines or horizontal lines. It might have stippling in it instead. So anyway, I just thought that if someone, I'm hired quite often to do house portraits. And what if I offered this? You know, your house is very nice, but how about incorporating your granite pile to something that actually is more personal to you by making me take the elements of your granite pile and turn it into a monogram. We love our granite pile, they'll say. And my heart will sink, because their granite pile is actually rather uninteresting. Just because it's old and made of granite doesn't make it very interesting. And then what they'll do is they'll say, show it from the front. Okay. And take that tree out of it, out of the picture. Well, the tree makes it interesting. Take it out, please. So anyway, this could be Dear Pierrot. I love the pen I bought from you, Benjamin. Here I'm making Ben look like he's left-handed, but anyway, that's what one can do. Ta-da! 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 And I used my newest pen that I put a Schaefer nib in, and I'm enjoying it, as you can see. See? Bye.